and welcome to Blue Jays Today. Well, you boys, we always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlock.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, guys, the whole Cody Bellinger situation just got a bit more complicated. So don't hold your breath, guys. There probably won't be any sort of signing anytime soon because the Blue Jays and Cody Bellinger, we may be waiting on a deal until the late January, maybe even into the spring training months, which is pretty scary. We're going to get into that. And as well, what does this mean for the Blue Jays leading up to that signing potentially? Before we get into, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Blue Jays Today. So we got some word out today about the whole Cody Bellinger situation, about maybe that he might take a little bit longer, like I was saying, which does provide a little bit of a complication when you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you're saving all this cash to potentially land Cody Bellinger. Well, you still got a bunch more holes rather than just a superstar to bring into your outfield, bro.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like this entire offseason has been one big test of patience because up until this point, the Toronto Blue Jays spent this much money, a whole fat zero, everybody. Now, we have been favorites for a lot of guys. We are currently still a favorite for Cody Bellinger. Per Mark Feinstein, he came out with an article today talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, talking about Cody Bellinger, and even predicting a contract for Cody Bellinger, saying I think it was 7 million or 7 years, for $182 million. So that's really interesting. I mean, would you take that contract? I think I would take that contract.
Yeah. Hell, dude, I was saying I'm comfortable with taking 250. I know a lot of you guys aren't, but I'm like, screw it. It's not my money. I'm trying to just put a good team together. So yes.
Agreed. So on that front, great news, right? Blue Jays, we're still in the mix. All of the analysts are loving our chances. What doesn't feel so good is what we heard later today, coming out from Robert Murray. Now, before I get into this quote, massive shout out to Battlegrounds, everybody. Safe, accessible, super duper fun. Head down there for your New Year's plans, for your date, for anything, guys. Throw some axes. It is a ton of fun. Damon quoted Robert Murray and said, speaking of Bellinger, I don't think we're anywhere close to a decision. I think he's going to be one of those guys who lingers on the market and could end up being a late January signing.
Gross.
That is so disgusting, dude. Like, on one hand, I love that we're favorites, but on the other hand, apparently he's not even close to a decision, which maybe isn't even good for us. And then two, it could be till late January.
Yeah, on the whole favorite note, it's like, how can we be favorites if he's not close to a decision? You know what I mean? Like, how could that, we could maybe have the best possible offer on the table. I made a video coming out, I think it might have been, it'll be yesterday by the time this podcast comes out. Go check it out if you haven't already, guys. But basically talking about how, it makes sense how the Blue Jays, we have the money versus the Cubs. Right, we have been proven to be spending a lot in the past, where the Cubs just proved it last year with Dansby Swanson, and they got a lot of prospects coming up. Whereas the Blue Jays, we really don't have any outfield prospects other than Alan Roden. He's a little sneaky guy, but we really need someone to just fill out that hole up there, and as well the first base position. You have no more Brandon Belt. He could play a little bit of first base as well. Cody Bellinger. So it makes a ton of sense for him to come over to the Jays. But damn, if we're going to have to wait till late January, this is going to get a lot more complicated because we don't just need an outfielder and first base. We need a third baseman. We need some more pitching depth. We need some bullpen help. So what the hell are the Blue Jays going to do waiting until Cody Bellinger arrives?
Yeah.
Maybe, even if he does arrive, bro.
Well, and speaking about the whole we're favorites, but he's taking his time, I specifically remember us making this argument for Shohei Ohtani, saying, okay, well, he was supposed to sign with the Dodgers, and because he's waiting, well, clearly we're in the mix, right? So if you're a Chicago Cubs fan or you're literally anyone else, then you can come and say, well, okay, listen, you're favorites, but he's taking his time, so maybe you're not as favorited as all these people are saying, right? We were making that argument for Ohtani. The same needs to be said for Bellinger.
I guess you could say Scott Boras. I mean, he's a smart man. He wants the best deal for his clients, right? You can make an argument. Maybe he's using the Cubs as leverage. Not us this time. I don't want to be used as leverage no more. I've been used way too much.
Hell no. I need a shower after this entire offseason, folks. But moving on to your second point right there, talking about what does this mean for us in the interim, I think we can't be sitting on our hands, guys, because yes, I know that Cody Bellinger is a massive piece, and it's kind of your domino, right? Whichever team gets him, that's kind of like your starting point, your catalyst for the rest of the offseason, because now all right, we're going to be targeting these areas. We do not need to worry about the outfield anymore. That was our big fish. That was our big guy. But if he's going to take till late January, I know that there's guys still available on the board right now, but if we make it to late January, I really don't think that there's going to be as many options available on the free agency market if he's the only one left, right?
Like, there definitely will be options. I just don't know if it's going to be the options that you want.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Because, again, you do have to look at it another way, right? Like, Cody Bellinger is an outfielder, first baseman, maybe some DH mix in there as well, right? There's a lot of those guys, those outfielders, kind of already out there right now, and there isn't a lot of guys that could play some infield like third base, right? Like a Justin Turner. We're gonna get to him in just a little bit. So like, what you really don't want to happen is to lose a guy on the free agent market that is a priority or a need, because there isn't just too many of them out there.
Correct, yeah. And again, just because we're favorites does not mean that we are going to lock this guy down, right? It could still happen that we are being used as leverage and he Chicago or he ends up somewhere else, right? So you have to be considering all of that. And that's why I loved what Ben Nicholson-Smith was coming out with his article and talking about some other guys that the Blue Jays have interest in. There was a lot of names here, but he was looking at Rhys Hoskins. He was looking at JD Martinez. He was looking at Jock Pederson, who we have not talked a lot about on this channel, but I think he's kind of sneaky.
Yep.
He was looking at Justin Turner, which is a little bit of a fan favorite for us. He was looking at Joey Votto. These are a lot of guys, maybe not Hoskins, but maybe Hoskins is coming off the injury, but these are a lot of dudes who are very talented in their own right, can bring you some power, can put in work in your lineup, but I don't think are necessarily going to take you out of the race, take you out of the running to still get Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, no, there's definitely complementary pieces right here. I mean, hell, I look over at Martinez. That's a guy, that's a run producer right there, and he's very specific to the DH spot. So, like, if he is available for some reason by January, that'd be a nice little pickup. Hoskins, not necessarily a need of ours to go pick up a first baseman and DH, but hey, I mean, if you want to go pick him up, look, when did we pick up Bell? Kind of near the end, right? Late January, I think it actually was late January, early February. We picked up Brandon Bell. That would be a sneaky little pickup right there. Maybe some people take some time to evaluate him, see if he is fully healthy, right? So there is definitely like options where they all kind of fit that role of like DH, maybe some first base, even Justin Turner could play a little bit of first base, third base. You got Joey Votto, first base, DH. So those kind of guys make a lot of sense. They don't really impact the Cody Bellinger market, right? So, but it would be. But what the problem is here, guys, I don't want to get to a situation where we get into the late, January, we miss on Cody Bellinger, and now you have to take whatever is left and pay them whatever.
Right, because we don't know what's going to still be remaining on the free agent market. And again, we have to keep stressing this point, everybody. I mean, currently you got Kevin Biggio in the starting lineup. You got David Schneider in the starting lineup. You got Nathan Lucas in the starting lineup. You got both of the catchers in the starting lineup. That is not a recipe, in my opinion, for success when you're dealing with the Yankees, who are looking like they might go out and get Yamamoto. When you're looking at the Boston Red Sox, who are getting kind of sneaky, and who I just found out the other day, they have the third best prospect system in all of baseball. So they're down, but they're not going to be down for too much longer. We've got to remain competitive in this division. And if they want to do what they promised, which is go out and make this team better, I think targeting a dude maybe like a Justin Turner, that would make a lot of sense.
So that's the guy. Do you think it would be even an option to get him this early? Because if we're looking around too, I mean, other teams are looking around for third base options as well if they're not into Matt Chapman. I mean, do you think that guy is going to be waiting around as well until January? Because ideally, I'd like to snag him right now. But I don't know. Like, I feel like he's going to wait around a bit too.
I don't know, man. Like, flashing over to some of the statistics from Justin Turner right now. I mean, you got to factor in, guys. Yes, he had a solid year last year, but he's also 39 years old. And I would just imagine that when you become a 39-year-old man, you probably want to know where you and your family are going to be living for the remainder of the year if you were going to lock it in with the team sooner rather than later, right? That's just a personal side of things. On just a baseball side of things, what's the contract? A 1 year? I mean, I think he knows that it's going to be a 1 year deal, right? Look at Jack Flaherty. He just signed something similar. Granted, Jack Flaherty didn't have as good as a year as Justin Turner did, but I don't necessarily think that Matt Chapman and what he gets paid is kind of relevant to what Justin Turner is going to make.
Right, and I think that's why, you see Jack Flaherty go off the board super early, right, as well, where it's not a direct impact. The only thing is that the starting pitcher market is so large that, like, he can kind of sneak away a little early and, like, not really get impacted by really anybody else signing off the board. Whereas Justin Turner, it does feel like it's Matt Chapman and then it's him.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Sure. After Candelario's gone, so you might wait just a little bit longer and see what kind of offer he can get from some desperate teams.
Well,
you know?
from the Toronto Blue Jays perspective, okay, maybe it's not Justin Turner then, but you got to go and you got to do something. And I mean, we've been stressing this for time, but I think that the news that we just heard about Cody Bellinger, again, if it is true, because you got to take all this with a grain of salt, but if he's actually looking like he's going to wait till the end of January to sign, I don't want to be in a situation where we are watching this guy fall off the board, this guy go off the board, and then you're getting to January and it's like, oh my God, we haven't spent a penny yet. The Yankees are stacked. The Red Sox, they managed to get a few dudes. Baltimore is obviously going to be there. And we're just kind of sitting, waiting, and hoping that Bellinger signs. And at that point, then you're all in on him. Because right now, you can still concoct and you can still make a solid team if you don't sign Cody Bellinger, if you miss out on that. But if you wait till the end of January and you're all in on this dude, then if he goes to the Cubs, you're kind of screwed.
Look, I agree. Like, ideally, you want to get the guys in early. So, I mean, how do you do that? I mean, you're going to have to overpay a little bit. You have to make that deal so juicy.
You're always going to have to make Toronto.
Exactly, to make them like come over early. But I really do think the scenario is going to be where all these free agents are going to wait till the end of January. Like if they know the market, all these agents know the market. They go, okay, well, we know Bellinger's going to take a while. We know that once he's gone, all the teams that were in on him are going to scramble and they're going to kind of grab whoever's left. So it might be good for them to wait. You might see what might happen with the Jays back in 2021 when they signed Springer. And then it was Simeon. And then it was, we signed Kirby Yates. And then we almost signed Michael Brantley. Like, that all happened within like a week and a half.
Fast.
We traded for Mats. It all happened super, super fast. I think you're going to see reality like that happen.
Do you put any weight into the narrative that the Blue Jays make their biggest moves and have kind of structured their offseason in the sense where after the holidays, that's where they pop off? Because I've been seeing a lot of tweets right now come out where people are talking about how, well, historically speaking, the Toronto Blue Jays, after the holidays, that is when they sign all their guys. So do you think there's any weight to that, or is that just kind of like wishful thinking by some of the analysts?
I think it's just maybe cherry picking some stats, because I look back at last year. I mean, we got Bassett before the holidays. Yeah, you made Varsho around the holidays. You traded Teoscar Hernandez like immediately, almost it felt like, right? So you made a lot of moves very early. I mean, even the year before, granted, it was a lockout. Kevin Gossman was before the holidays. But, I think it just depends on the market any given year. And also, you got to consider, maybe if people are looking way back at like before Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro times, that doesn't really apply now.
No, it's
different
true.
Guys, right?
Literally different dudes running the show. Throwback to a few months ago, a few weeks ago even, where everyone was literally saying, the second that Shohei Ohtani goes off the board,
I know,
that's going to be when the floodgates open.
I know,
that's when everyone's going to sign right now.
Dude, we're still waiting. And Yamamoto, he's going to take like pretty close to the end of his 45-day window.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, man.
What is going on right now, guys? Seriously, what is happening? It's like a new meta for these free agents has been leaked, and now they're trying this new strategy, and they are getting paid stupid dollars right now, but like, holy mother of God, please sign.
Look, it's tough, guys, but we're going to be really happy in January, hopefully. But again, if we miss on Bellinger and then a few of those guys come off the board and they get kind of picked off by some other teams, it could be a very bad offseason for the Jays.
For real. I mean, it's phenomenal that we are considered one of the favorites, but the fact that this guy is, one, not sure where he's going yet, and two, going to wait till the end of the time makes me a little bit worried. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, everybody. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe button, folks. $3 a month, become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and our YouTube members, too. All of you guys are freaking amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!